to talk a little bit about Facebook and their mind control manipulation, the ultimate game plan of the Facebook. So hold on one second. Let me just share this with a group of mine real quick, and we'll get going with this rogue rant. Okay, basically the news came out about Facebook and how they're utilizing, how they've known all the time that they were basically putting forth a platform, a program, a design, a social via the social network, which will alter the personality of many individuals, alter the psychology, redesign the whole mindset of individuals, and turn them into essentially walking zombies, which most individuals are. It's become more and more obvious, as we see right now today. With Facebook, and you got Sean Parker who's out there, and I'm going to play this. He's the first president to ever come out for with Facebook, and I'm going to play essentially a meeting that he was at where he uncovered what they found out, uncovered how they knew the impact that this would have on society, yet they continue to move forth. And then I'm going to do some analogies with it too, and some comparisons. So let's go ahead and listen to him real quick here. Let me get you guys to that screen in a second, and here we go. Oh, hold on one second. Hold on. We gotta turn off something here.
I'm sure you do. You're a smart guy.
We got too many programs running.
To make people disassociative.
All right, there we go. See, the downside to being a one-man operation is you got to make sure you're doing it right. Okay, so let's go ahead and back this up. Sean Parker, first president of Facebook.
That thought process was all about how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible. And that means that we need to sort of give you a little dopamine hit every once in a while because someone liked or commented on a photo or a post or whatever. And that's going to get you to contribute more.
I like that best, the dopamine hit. And if you think about it, that's what it is. I personally, a lot of people think I live on Facebook, and I actually don't. And the same with our Twitter. I actually don't, or LinkedIn. I post on there, and I post on there because of my size of my fan base. Let's just like my local ones, the Scoop News, over 55,000 people. A lot of people are involved in it, and they're very active, engaged users. And so they click the link, they'll go to the website. I personally don't even read the threads. Rarely, very rarely. If you talk to my friends that I have on my Facebook page, they'll tell you that I very rarely post, and I very rarely comment or like anybody's stuff because I just don't go on there. With Twitter, I do. Twitter's a little bit different because you got the phone right there. And I get alerts, and I get alerts all day long from reporters or different people I follow so that I can post out news. And so in that regard, I see it. But you understand that whole dopamine thing. Oh, I got to like, oh, I got to like, oh, I got a new person's following me. And that whole, how it's almost like a drug. And that's what Facebook has become. Let's continue listening.
Content, and that's going to get you, more likes and comments. And it's a social validation feedback loop that it's like it's exactly the kind of thing that a hacker like myself would come up with, because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. And I think that the inventors.
So if you guys understand that they're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology, and they knew it. They knew it all the time. They knew what they were doing, as he said. And that was what they wanted, because they knew if they could hack into there, if they could possibly get into your brain and rewire it, that they had you trapped. They had you coming back for more, which they do on the social media platforms. And they wanted to know, how can we sit there? How can we get these people to consume so much of Facebook, so much of social media, that we get all their time, that we get all their possible attention, that we get it so that it's a dopamine rush whenever somebody likes, whenever somebody shares or comments on one of their posts. I tell you what, if I got a dopamine rush for every time somebody liked or commented or shared, I'd be one high guy, especially with my Scoop News, because it's constant on there with the engagements. it was constant with my national page before Facebook censored it and stopped it and unpublished it. And I had, 275,000 fans on that national page. And I used to get a ton of comments and likes on there. Not as much anymore. I think I only got just over 8,000 now. But that's fine with me. Life goes on. But if you just look at the overall impact, I was reading something else or listening to the news this morning. They were talking about kids, and they're talking about all the screen time and in front of the computers and their iPads and their phones, and how more and more kids are more depressed, and the suicidal rates are up, and they said especially among young ladies. And I had an interesting concept where Tucker Carlson last night, he was talking about this, and he said, you know what? How come we're not holding these guys liable? They've come out. Sean Parker's come out. He said that they knew what they were doing. He said that they knew they were getting essentially parents and kids addicted to this. So how come we can't treat them like we treat Big Pharma and have them come up with a solution? Have them set aside money to try to get people off of this drug of sorts. And it was a real interesting interview, and how he went at it with this social media expert and just threw around different concepts, different ideas, and it was pretty interesting. And they touched on how this whole social media thing essentially changes the relationship that people are having in society. I walk around, when I was a kid, I think texting was around. Cell phones didn't come until a couple of years later after I got out of the Navy. But we went out, we engaged each other. We would go out to the beach. We wouldn't know where the party was. We'd have to drive around from beach to beach and find the party. And it's different now. Everybody's on their phone. And the party is, hey, let's go up and meet up on, what's that one my daughters are on? Snapchat. Let's Snapchat left and right to each other. I don't even get the beauty. I don't even understand the whole Snapchat. I don't see why it's so fun. Instagram, I have like 600, 700, 800 followers. I don't even know. So I post pictures. What's the benefit of it? I don't even get it. To me, I don't get it. I'd rather go out. I'd rather talk to somebody. I can't stand the social media. I think too many people, everyone knows I'm constantly getting attacked. I have threats. I have everything constantly. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really ever read my pages. And it's amazing how different people are when they're in this virtual world and they think they're these keyboard badasses, how they the communication they have is so much different than if they were standing straight up talking to an individual. And how Facebook has changed the psychology of it all. It has rewired our brains, essentially exploiting the loop in there, the personal content that we're receiving, giving us that dopamine rush, that need for social validation via feed through through Facebook, through Twitter, through all these different means. And I just thought it was a real interesting. It was an interesting article. It was interesting how he came out and admitted to it. And it makes you sit and think, should I be sitting there on social media constantly? And I have found myself in that trap. And I tell my wife, I'm always working. And because I got to keep going, I got to keep my mind thinking and working, processing. And I hate it when I rarely sit down in the living room in front of the TV. And I don't do that because I turn into a zombie. It gets me mesmerized, just like Facebook mesmerizes all these individuals. And next thing you know, I'm just sitting there like a zombie. And 2 or 3 hours go by, and I'm still sitting there watching this TV. And the same happens with social media. I've seen friends that will sit there for hours playing games, doing Facebook, doing Twitter. And time just passes them by. They don't get to go out and experience the real world. And I'm bad at it. I'm one to talk because I'm the one that's sending out all those communications, especially on my local pages. I do it on my national, but my national, ever since I had to change pages and stuff, still small. But if you think about it on the local level, I'm part of the problem because I'm putting those links out there and people are sitting there commenting. I mean, my engagement rates, for 50, what do I have? 55,000 on the Scoop. But if you look at all my groups and everything, I have about 90,000 followers. to 90 to 100,000. My engagements are in the millions. I think it comes out to something like 3 million or something like that, because and that's how involved individuals are. So I'm part of the problem. If the engagement rate is that high, that means people are on my page, they're sharing, they're liking, they're talking, they're doing whatever the hell they do on there. And so I'm part of the problem. Even though I'm never on there and I'm bitching about it and I wish people weren't on there, I'm sitting here and I'm aiding it. I'm an aider and a better. So I thought about that. I was going to rant. I know I was doing a lot of local news, but since I'm cutting back on doing the advertising and just going back to not making any money anymore on this stuff because of the complaints about advertising, I thought, well, just do my own stuff. And my own stuff is putting out the national news and rants and covering stuff like that versus the local, even though that's what I'm known for. But that's it. Everybody have a great day. This has been Frankie with the Uncensored Report.